Good morning and welcome everyone to the Selva Beach Branch grand opening. Please use the chat feature to interact and join in on this special celebration. A special thank you to the supporters of Measure S. And now I'm going to hand things over to Supervisor Zach Friend to kick this off. Zach?
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are as excited as I am as we have the grand opening of the Selva Beach Branch Library today. Now, unfortunately, we can't be there to celebrate in person, but we still want to celebrate with you virtually. So if you wouldn't mind using the chat function to interact and celebrate with us, we would appreciate it. As I think many of you know, La Selva Beach, the branch library is maybe the smallest in the system in size, but the community there is outsized, and its role that it plays in the community there is outsized. A little bit of the history that might be of interest to you. In 1950, the La Selva Beach Women's Club petitioned the county library system for a branch in La Selva. Now, what they got was a makeshift branch in the closet of the clubhouse, not quite the branch that we have that we're opening up today, but in 1968, the library opened at its current location, and in 2009, the Friends of the La Selva Beach Library chapter was formed, as many of you know, because so many of you have supported it, to support, fundraise, and advocate for the library. And let me tell you, I'm looking forward to being back in that branch and seeing all of you at really what is a community center and community hub for the wonderful community of La Selva Beach. Now, I'd like to introduce my predecessor and former La Selva Beach resident, Ellen Peary, a former supervisor that, as many of you know, represented not just the community on the library board, but also on the board of supervisors, and has been a fierce advocate for this branch and the system in general. Let's turn it over to former supervisor Ellen Peary.
Hello, I'm Ellen Peary, and from 2001 to 2013, I sat on the Board of Supervisors and represented La Selva Beach, as well as other areas in the 2nd District. One of my jobs on the Board of Supervisors was to represent the county on the library board. I was happy to do that, being a child of 2 librarians and a frequent user of the Aptos and La Selva Beach libraries. The remodel that we're celebrating today is actually the remodel of a remodel that we celebrated a number of years ago. The original library was very modest in size and collection. About 10 years ago, the library system was struggling financially, and the library director came up with a proposal that would close some of the smaller branches and keep the larger branches open. La Selva Beach was one of those branches that would close. I took that proposal to a group of La Selva Beach library lovers, and I remember that Robley Levy and Sue Struck and Cindy Jackson and a number of other people were at that meeting. I explained the proposal to them and asked for their input, and they were unanimously and vehemently opposed to the proposal that would close the branch. So I took that kind of lit a fire under me, and I took that back to the county staff, and they were inspired to really work on other alternatives that we could present to the library board that would keep the smaller branches open. So eventually we got to a large public meeting. Hundreds of people spoke at the meeting for and against the various proposals. And it finally came down to a vote. And the proposal to keep the branches open won, and it won by 1 vote. It was Catherine Byers, who sat on the City of Santa Cruz's City Council and was a retired librarian. She was under intense pressure to vote to close the smaller branches, but she had the courage to stand up to that pressure and kept the branches open. And we successfully weathered that financial period and have now in a period of doing much better. The La Selva Beach Library was born of community support, and it's now been reborn, remodeled as a result of community support. And that's what it takes to keep libraries and other public facilities opening and serving the community. And I want to thank everybody who has contributed to those efforts over the years.
Well, thank you to Supervisor Peary. Thank you, Supervisor Peary, for your steadfast support of the La Selva Library and the system in general. We have come full circle here. What you and Cindy and so many within the community fought to save has now, as you had said, been reborn in something that when I first got on the Board of Supervisors and the Library Board, I never could have imagined something this beautiful reopening today. So how about a little history of Measure S? I think as many of you know, the La Selva Library and so many within the branch system was showing a fair amount of age. And at 50 years, we definitely saw the age and struggles of this branch library. But in 2013, the library system engaged in a comprehensive facilities master planning process that I also participated in to assess the needs of each of the branches, and they're pretty significant. It was concluded that a local source of funding was needed to upgrade and improve the local libraries. And in February of 2016, the Facilities Financing Authority, which I also serve on, unanimously voted to place a $67 million bond measure, later designated as Measure S, on the June 2016 ballot to address the most urgent needs. Many of you held coffee meetings with constituents in order to do outreach on this item. There was a significant amount of push to inform about the importance of modernizing our system and making repairs and really leaving a legacy for the next generation. The Measure S funds that were approved by voters in, by the way, a pretty significant fashion of well over 70%, has made possible today this stunning renovation that you'll see later, which will provide a comfortable, attractive, and inviting space for patrons of current and future generations. I can't thank all of you enough for that legacy that you've left for Santa Cruz County and La Selva in particular. And in fact, we have another special guest that'd like to speak a little bit to this and participate in this celebration. I'm going to turn it over to Congressman Jimmy Panetta.
Everybody, it's Jimmy Panetta, your United States representative for our home on the Central Coast. It's a real honor that I get to be here with you, albeit virtually, to celebrate such an amazing achievement that at one point didn't even seem like a possibility. But here we are, marking the grand opening of the remodeled and revitalized La Selva Beach Library. Now, a decade ago, budget cuts threatened the existence of this library, but thanks to the amazing work of the La Selva Beach community and leaders like Supervisor Friend, the Santa Cruz County Library Board, and of course the La Selva Beach Library staff, you got the message out there as to how important this library is to who we are in this community. Now, as someone who grew up, and don't let Zach tell you anything else, but as someone who grew up going to and spending time at libraries from preschool to high school and yes, and even college, I do realize that libraries are more than a place for books. They are a place for people, a place where we not only go to better ourselves, it also allows us to better our community. Yes, of course, it's about books and nowadays computers, but what it comes down to is that libraries are a place for information. And what libraries provide is critical access to that information for everybody in our community, which is why the reopening of this branch is so important. Now, I think we know that the Santa Cruz Library system is in a period of transformation, but with the help of Measure S funding, our libraries are receiving the updates that they need to better provide the services that our communities deserve. And the La Selva Beach Library is just the latest chapter in that book. So congratulations. I look forward to seeing you soon. And hopefully it is at the La Selva Beach Library. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Congressman Panetta. Very exciting to have you participate with us today. And I couldn't agree more about the words that you just outlined to all of us about that it really is a community-based place. I think maybe more than any other branch library within the system, La Selva really provides, the branch library really does provide a home for the community. It's just a beautiful spot to congregate, and now it's been remodeled for not just the current, but future generations. So before I introduce our wonderful library director, I would like to thank the Library Joint Powers Board, which have been very supportive of this. A few years ago, the board became an administrator-based board where the city managers and the county administrative officer now serve to help on the day-to-day operations of the library with our fearless library director. So I'd like to thank Santa Cruz City Manager Martine Bernal, Scotts Valley City Manager Tina Friend, the County Administrative Officer Carlos Palacios, and Capitola City Manager Jamie Goldstein for your continued steadfast support in developing these facilities. Now, speaking of this facility, let's introduce our fearless library director and someone who's been working on this since she first started with our local system, Susan Nemitz. Susan, take it away.
Zach, thank you so much. I can't wait for all of you to see this amazing library. It's accessible and flexible. It's modern, it's inviting, and it's state of the art. But it takes a village to make a library. So I want to do some thank yous. First, it has these characteristics because of the hard work of Jesus, Tomas, and Selena Corona of CT Builders. Due to the vision of Abe Jason and Katie Stewart of Jason Architects, the dedication of our project managers, Damon Adleo, and I see Betsy Lindberg out there from the County of Santa Cruz, and Gabriella Curid from Bogard Construction. We got the guidance of County Director of Public Works, Matt Machado, and the Director of Capital Projects, Travis Carey. I need to give a shout out to the La Selva Beach Recreation District and the La Selva Beach Community Church for providing space for the library during the period of construction. And really, no greater thanks do I have than goes to Cindy Jackson. She was the fearless leader of the Friends of the Library, who've done amazing work and advocacy on behalf of the Santa Cruz Public Libraries and really have made this vision possible. Cindy?
Thank you, Susan, for those kind words. I'm so excited for everyone to see the library and publicly thank some of the generous people and organizations that made it possible. We were the fortunate recipient of Roland and Pat Rebelly's well-known philanthropy. The Friends of the Santa Cruz Public Library received a $300,000 matching grant from the Monterey Peninsula Foundation, which is, by the way, the sponsor of the AT&T Pro-Am Golf Tournament. La Selva Beach received $100,000 of that matching grant for our expanded patio that we can now use for outdoor programming. Jim Morley was a beloved member of our community and left the library a significant bequest. And the Bontadelli family gave in honor of their mother, Beverly, who was an avid reader and a library volunteer. And Deluxe Food of Aptos and Mark Monte continue to be our most faithful and continuous supporter. But each and every donation was important, regardless of size. We had donations from the La Selva Beach 4th of July Parade, from the Ice Cream Social, from donations from Books and Brews and holiday fairs, and even from a lemonade stand. You all are what makes La Selva Beach special, and you're responsible for this amazing new space for all of us. Thank you. And now it's time for the ribbon cutting.
One, two, three. Cut, pull, yay!
The library still has the feeling of a small town community, but with modern touches. The patio pergola will be great for outdoor programs. Beach-themed seating provides a comfortable place for meeting friends or reading on your own, and the oversized beach pebble seats are sure to be popular. Book drops are next to the parking area and to the left of the new ADA accessible main entrance. When entering the lobby, new and popular materials are displayed on built-in maple shelves. The self-check is conveniently located near the lobby entrance. Library staff will greet you from the new stone information desk, where they can keep the entire library in view. Fanciful lighting fixtures above add an artistic touch. The cozy window nook is perfect for reading. Technological updates include desktop computers, an AWE early literacy station, laptops for use in the library, and wireless printing. Updated Wi-Fi access will provide internet to both indoor and outdoor spaces. The adult area is flexible and can be used for large or small programs such as movies or book groups. The bookshelves resemble sea glass and are movable so the room can quickly be reconfigured. New monitors will make movies and presentations effortless. A donor wall recognizing major donors to the project features a unique wallpaper graphic of the ocean floor. The clear-story windows provide natural light, and the modern lighting system automatically adjusts brightness throughout the day. The children's area provides a welcoming space for young readers and their families. Like the adult area, this is a flexible space that can be tailored to many different programs. The folding glass wall can be closed, containing sound while allowing for observation and light. The wall was funded entirely with donations raised by the Friends of the Selva Beach Branch Library. A beautiful glass mosaic by local artist Denise Davidson reminds us of our proximity to the ocean. Funds were designated for this project as part of the Percent for Art public art program. Please come and visit the new La Selva Beach Branch Library.
And I would be remiss if I didn't thank some of the staff from the library. I want to thank especially Heather Norquist, Galena Wells, Sandy Imperio, Lynn Sansevero, and our IT staff, Sarah Harbison and the CMS staff, Diane Cowan, Laura Whaley, Janice O'Driscoll, and the whole village of the library that it took to get this branch open. I do want to show a picture of the staff that you'll be seeing on site. We've got Galena Wells and Austin Frey. There they are with masks on, and you'll see them that way for a bit to come. Grab and go services start on Tuesday at 1 p.m. During the first 2 weeks, if you stop by, you'll get your commemorative cookie and commemorative bookmark. And there are special things like grab and go kits for children and teens. Grab and go hours are going to be Tuesday, Thursday from 1 to 6 p.m., Saturday from 12 to 5. Please come see us. We're so excited to open the building. Zach?
Thank you, Susan. You know, I have to say, given all the challenges we faced in this last year, I was actually getting choked up just watching the video just now of this library opening. It's just nice to have this beauty. It's nice to have the positivity. This community deserves this, to see this full circle, to save the library, to fight for the library, and then to fundraise for the library and to have it become what it is. I can't thank you enough. I did notice that Cynthia Matthews, I wanted to acknowledge her. She's on today's event. She was the driving force behind Measure S, and even though she was a Santa Cruz City Council member at the time, she actively helped down in La Selva and other places to ensure Measure S passed. I also like to thank Allison Violante, who's on my staff, who's been the liaison to the library system and La Selva the entire time to help interface between the county, the Friends, and the branch. Well, we're finishing the end of this virtual tour today, but as Susan had mentioned, there'll be opportunities for you to physically go to the library for grab and go, and we are hoping, as Cindy had briefly mentioned, for something in the fall that could be a more in-person type event. So thank you all for coming to our virtual grand opening. Obviously, we can't meet in person right now, but until we can, here's a slideshow of the past and present. And by the way, the music that you're going to hear includes somebody from the library staff, the great Heather Norquist, and her partner on music here, Aaron Caceres, who's going to be playing bass and piano. Heather is going to be the vocals that you hear on this slideshow. So we're going to pass it on to the slideshow. Congratulations to everybody in La Selva Beach. Again, please leave some comments in the chat. We love interacting with you that way. And congratulations on this grand opening.
They asked me, I could write a book about the way whisper and look. I could write a preface on how we met, so the world would never forget. And the simple secret of the plot is just to tell them that I love you a lot. And the world discovers as my book ends how to make true lovers, how to make two lovers, how to make two lovers of friends.
Well, everybody, we are excited to see you at the library. Thank you for joining us today. This is the end of our official virtual grand opening, but we're excited that this is just the beginning of the new La Selva Beach branch. Thank you to everyone that participated. Thank you, Cindy Jackson, for your leadership. Thank you, La Selva community. Everybody, we'll see you at the library.